The greatest business opportunities that wealthy people lament missing out on, such as investing in Uber or purchasing Bitcoin when it was extremely affordable, would seem to be the source of these regrets. But you'd be mistaken. We spend a lot of time with wealthy people and even more time attempting to avoid making the same mistakes they have. Money, in actuality, only addresses financial issues. And by the time you succeed in solving your financial issues, it might already be too late. But not for those of you who have stayed up until the very conclusion of this video. Prepare yourself for wealth and avoid their errors by doing the opposite. These are the top 15 laments of the wealthy. Please enjoy this video. The place where future billionaires come to get inspired. 1. Their education and delaying beginning sooner. Unbelievably, the majority of wealthy individuals consider their college years to be a waste of time. The only two exceptions we've discovered are for individuals who either made a really close friend who is still alive or who encountered their co-founder while attending college. Rich individuals, however, claim that attending events focused on your interests would produce the same results in both situations. One of the biggest mistakes that wealthy people make is delaying beginning. They believe that by starting out with less rivalry, they would have had a huge competitive advantage and could have reached rich status in half the time. They also believe that they would have done so sooner. If you're young, a teenager, or in your 20s, start now. You know that thing you've got buzzing around the back of your mind not going away? Do that. The best time to start was yesterday. The second best is today. 2. Neglected family. They exchange time with their family for a few additional dollars. The idea that their children and partners require luxury, top-notch education, gifts, and more assets in the family name is one of the greatest misconceptions that wealthy people are aware they hold. It's true up to a point, which varies depending on where you live in the globe. Beyond this point, though, toddlers prefer to spend time with you. Rather than a brand new Cartier bracelet, your companion would prefer to take a stroll in the park with you. Don't be the type of individual who only stops by their family during brief breaks from work. 3. Not living in the present. People with money frequently live in the future. A gift and a curse, both. Living in the future allows you the ability to bring it into the present, which is a blessing. It provides you with a goal to pursue. But the Buddhists have articulated the issue with life in the future the best. When you have a desire, you make a deal with yourself that you won't be satisfied until you get what you want. Your mind is continually considering alternative options. Life is what occurs to you while you're busy making other plans, as John Lennon and wealthy people have both discovered the hard way. Embrace pleasure right now. Even if you don't feel content, you can be appreciative of everything you've accomplished. Take some time to smell the roses. For leaving all your friends behind and feeling lonely, you occasionally have to leave those who are holding you back behind, and this is a major part of the wealth journey. But we do recognize that there are instances when you are the only one who wants to climb that mountain. And most of the time, that is accurate. The path to wealth is actually fairly amazing. You have partners and workers, and you create a network, as everyone is aware. But each of these things has a purpose. Making new, sincere, and lasting friendships is very difficult when you labor nonstop. Owning your own private island sounds fairly cool until you realize how lonely it is. Perhaps you're thinking that if I just get the island, people will arrive. However, if they are only there for the island, they aren't really there for you, which makes you feel lonely even when surrounded by people. This situation could even get worse. Some of you are very familiar with this sensation. 5. Not having the right coach or mentor early enough. The absolute most useful resource to have is someone who has been where you're heading if you've never been there before. They not only know the route, but they also know what's coming up, what traps to watch out for, and which shortcuts to take. You can get there in half the time and for half the cost with the help of an excellent mentor or coach. Every top achiever has a coach or a method to concentrate their efforts for the best results. Anyone who is truly wealthy will confirm these statements if you ask them. Their teachers had a significant impact on their course. Your life is developing slowly because you lack a mentor and a structure that would allow you to advance more quickly at this rate. You might get to where you're going eventually, but it will take you a lot more time than you think. Not having a mentor is crippling you, and we want to do something about it. 6. They got defined by what they do. Here's the significance of being skilled at something. You want to continue doing that. We are wired in such a manner that we crave praise so much that it becomes a vicious cycle. More commendation is given when you do something more frequently and become better at it. You keep doing it more and more, and so on, because you want more accolades. But before you know it, you are what you do in the views of everyone else. They are the plant men, he is a web designer, she is a baker. Your complete self becomes compartmentalized. People will always give you strange looks and caution you whenever you want to attempt something. Kanye is an excellent example of someone who was told to keep to making beats. Being terrible at something in the outset is a necessary part of learning anything. But because you have a reputation and you love the praise so much, being awful doesn't come easily. People therefore tend to avoid it. That is how multimillionaire accountants, attorneys, or physicians emerged who had hidden ambitions to write books, play the instrument, or perform stand-up comedy. They can't afford to change who they are because of their status because, in their views, the world would view them less favorably. 7. Unable to communicate feelings. Most of you already know that money is a numbers game and doesn't give a damn about how you feel. Money lacks feeling. It is commercial by nature. Although the motivations behind the exchange may be emotionally charged, the money itself is not. You must set emotion aside in order to comprehend money. Because money is always an emotional issue for impoverished people, they are unable to do it. Money becomes nothing more than numbers on a screen the instant emotion is removed from it. And that's when you actually become wealthy. But in the process, you disconnect from yourself. Your perspective shifts as your mind gets used to this new world, and you start to consider things from a cause and effect standpoint. With a high degree of confidence, you can forecast the outcome based on the input by saying if this, then that. In business, this is very successful, but it backfires. People who are socially successful lament not being able to express their feelings more openly and honestly. We've encountered people who are worth hundreds of millions of dollars who still struggle with the regret of having kept their feelings for a childhood crush a secret. Although some of you think your partner is aware of your feelings for them, how can they be sure if you never inform them? Open up more. Tell your spouse you love them. Tell your children you're grateful to be their parent, and tell your employees you're proud of them. Trust us, it will help out tremendously. 8. Speaking of the childhood crush, not being more confident when they were having let others take advantage of them when they were young is one of the greatest regrets. Most wealthy individuals are not the popular students in their schools. They are somewhat dissimilar. The general public does not worry as much as they do about the future. Therefore, future billionaires occasionally experience marginalization because they don't blend in. You make acquaintances, but you don't really develop meaningful relationships, as Too Hot to Handle puts it. Being able to be who you are without apology, and having people embrace and value that about you gives you confidence. The majority of us discover this later in life, but the effects of those formative years remain. For some, the rarity of confidence gives those who have it an unfair edge. If life is a video game, then self-confidence is a cheat. 9. Buying too much meaningless stuff that's cluttering your life. Mark Manson, the author of The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, admitted to us in one of our talks that as soon as the money came in, he began purchasing all the stupid things he could. It's a means to fill in the gaps in your identity with things you previously couldn't afford. You soon understood, however, that you didn't truly require or even want all that stuff. That you were merely trying to externally occupy a void inside of you. And that simply doesn't function. Not to mention that now that you have everything, it needs upkeep and work. A 10-car garage sounds wonderful until you realize that every single vehicle requires an oil change. Having properties around the world is cool until your house in Japan gets broken into. When you have money, it doesn't take long to realize that the things you own end up owning you. 10. They were miserable in the process of getting rich. Real wealth doesn't come easily. Truly, it's very challenging. That explains why so few individuals succeeded in doing it. While some of them managed to do it gracefully, others will put their noses to the grindstone, isolate themselves in a room, and toil away until they succeed. We have both had these roles at various times. 11. The grind is hard, especially when you don't know what you're doing. It's draining and essentially demeaning. Then something finally connects. You gather speed. You become wiser. There are smarter individuals around you who draw your attention to things that were just in front of you. With all of that, it's simple to get lost. Rich, intelligent people are aware of the need to balance their financial achievement with their emotional, intellectual, and interpersonal well-being. We experienced a breakthrough a few years ago when, after spending nearly a year traveling to meet with various priests, shamans, and spiritual authorities, we applied their lessons to further our personal objectives. Mind mastery is the end outcome. And that's not just some pathetic middle school, either. PSA. It's true that you can maintain a healthy weight at any moment, but it will be good shape for your age. Being fit in your 20s versus your 40s is a totally different experience. Fitness is a flex after 40 if money is a luxury in your 20s. The idea is to live as long as possible and appreciate life, but telling someone who is starving to eat sensibly can be difficult. Realizing how far they've let themselves go too late is one of the greatest regrets that wealthy people have. For the majority of them, dealing with it early, before things became more complicated, would have been much simpler and cheaper. 12. They became entitled, disconnected, and lose their drive. Once you're wealthy for a while, you begin to lose memory of your previous existence. Hunger is an extremely effective driver. The most deadly predator is a hungry lion, and you are it. You understand what it's like to work hard every day just to place food on the table. As soon as you chomp down, you never let go. All of a sudden, your refrigerator begins to get full of extra food. Being aware that you don't need to seek makes you drowsy. You gain weight, become more at ease, and lose endurance. Then, before you realize it, other lions are also skilled hunters. The realization that you must limit the food you still have because you cannot keep up with the young ones serves as a shocking wake-up call. Before it passes, you are unaware that you had your chance. Some of you have to wait until this time. And regrettably for some, it is now in the past. 13. Getting involved with the wrong people. Malicious co-founders, partners, politicians, tempting affairs. Your image can easily be tarnished by association. People want what you have, and they will take advantage of your quest of wealth to further their own interests. This is one of the reasons why wealthy people usually, or at least up until relatively recently, avoided politics. Everyone desires fame these days, but the drawback of putting yourself in the spotlight is that you can never turn it off. It will always exist, and people will always notice you. We have discovered that we would prefer to be wealthy and anonymous to being renowned and well-known. 14. Hedonic treadmill and lifestyle necessities. Look, we get it, okay? You aspire to wealth so you can purchase a lovely home with a pool. You see, the pool needs to be cleaned frequently. You need to continue working so that you can keep up that fund. You suddenly come to the realization that you labor so that you can pay the housekeeper, the piano teacher, the horse trainer, the pool boy, and everyone else. You must maintain your active lifestyle, just as the mako shark cannot cease swimming or it will perish. This idea is known as the Red Queen's race, which occurs when you have to run as quickly as you can in order to remain in one place, for those of you who have read Alice in Wonderland. 15. Selling their company too soon. This is a problem that we have personally had to solve. And in order for us to succeed, we must make you wealthy. You can aid in our development when you are wealthy. The app is well liked by you people, and we're constantly improving it. We have a far journey ahead of us. And rather than represent the interests of another media fund, we would prefer to traverse it with you. Write the word journey in the comments if you're ready to walk with us.